Money may be the key to hanging on in this race. And right now we are getting a good look at the candidates' war chests. Earlier this morning, Bernie Sanders revealed a massive $34.5 million fundraising haul for the fourth quarter alone. I want to bring in NBC road warrior Vaughn Hilliard, who joins us from the campaign trail in Concord, New Hampshire, and Bernard Whitman, a former pollster for President Clinton, and former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Bernard, let me get your thoughts on this, because as we've kind of gone through the numbers of how significant these overhaul figures are, you've got Mayor Pete Buttigieg, as Vaughn was saying, $24.7 million. We're still waiting on numbers from candidates like Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren. What does that set of data, the number, the money game, tell us about where the candidates stand going into the first round of voting?
Well, at the end of the day, politics is a numbers game, which is great for people like pollsters like me, great for Bernie Sanders, great for Pete Buttigieg, not so great for Julian Castro, who obviously dropped out with low polling numbers and low money. But money means a number of things. Money means staying power. Money means money for ads, for infrastructure, for field, for staff. And typically, money means more money. I'm incredibly impressed, obviously, with Bernie Sanders' massive haul. But I got to give it to Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg is a first-time candidate. He's the mayor of a small town. He's never done this before. He had virtually zero name ID. He raised $25 million nearly in Q2 of last year, almost $25 million again in the fourth quarter of this year. I think it spells a lot of good luck and continued staying power for him and for Bernie. Joe Biden's got a lot to worry about. Joe Biden raised actually less last quarter than in third quarter than Andrew Yang raised in this fourth quarter. That's pretty surprising. And Elizabeth Warren already warned her supporters that she probably raised more like $20 million, which is almost $4 or $5 million down from what she raised in the previous quarter. So I think it shows that there's going to be a massive race between Bernie and Elizabeth Warren for that wing of the party, and for Biden versus Buttigieg for the more center.
When you take just to bounce off of that really quickly on Joe Biden, is the money game an indication of enthusiasm in someone's case like Joe Biden, or do they feel that he is the front runner and he still has maintained that lead pretty substantially by double digits in most cases?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of warning signs for Joe Biden. Joe Biden clearly is still ahead in all the national polls, but he's not dramatically ahead in any of the key states. And in Iowa, basically it's a four-way race. Anybody could win Iowa. In New Hampshire, Bernie and Buttigieg are basically tied, and Biden and Warren are a bit behind. I think it shows that people have concerns about Joe Biden. He maintains a sizable lead, largely because of his big support among African Americans, for sure, and also his name idea. Everybody knows who Joe Biden is. But the fact that he is probably going to report mediocre fundraising numbers. If you have great numbers, you report them early, like Bernie and Buttigieg did. If your numbers are sort of you wait, and I think we're going to see Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden wait a bit.
So let's switch gears and talk about the Trump campaign here, because they've also put out their numbers, a staggering figure. I believe the campaign says $46 million in the fourth quarter, the best fundraising quarter for the 2020 cycle so far. They have over $102 million, I believe, in cash on hand. When you look at a number like that coming out of the Trump administration, the Trump campaign going into the election cycle, should Democrats be worried? Is that a reflection of how strong the momentum is behind his reelection?
It's a reflection of incumbency. And I tell all my friends all the time, people say, Trump can't possibly win reelection. I said, if he's the incumbent, he's got a minimum 50-50 shot. It comes with a lot of built-in advantages. Fundraising is certainly one of them. And this happens every time an incumbent runs. We saw that last time in 2012 when Obama was the incumbent. Incumbency comes with massive fundraising opportunities and potential. And I think once the Democratic field consolidates, we're going to see a lot more money pour into the Democratic coffers. But clearly, Trump, with his digital operation in particular, is raising a ton of money and will likely continue to do so.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Democrats coalesce around a single candidate and whether that boosts them as well later.
Let's hope it happens sooner rather than later, but I think this is going to go on for quite some time.
All right, Bernard Whitman, thank you, sir, very much for your time. Vaughn Hilliard out on the beat for us. Thank you, as always, Vaughn. Appreciate it. Tonight, just hours after exiting the 2020 presidential race, former Secretary of Housing and Urban Development Julian Castro joins Rachel Maddow for an exclusive one-on-one in-studio interview. Watch the Rachel Maddow Show tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on MSNBC.